We are back in the world of Wolfblood with a mainly new cast, but there will be some familiar faces sprinkled in there. If you haven't watched my first video about Wolfblood, you should. But to summarise it, Maddie and her Wolfblood family meet Rydian the lone wolf, and also don't trust Pizza around this girl. It summarises 3 seasons. This video is going to be me recapping season 4 and 5 of Wolfblood, as well as the extra content that goes between the seasons, such as JANA's bites, showing JANA from the previous season leading her pack, and many more Wolfblood media that I found since the last video. So leave a like on the video if you like Wolfblood. JANA Bites is set in the period of time between episode 11 in season 2, when Kerry arrives at Stony Bridge to retrieve JANA to be the new pack leader of the Wild Wolfblood, the episode Alpha Material in season 3, when the Wild bring back an injured JANA to seek medical help. The reason I'm choosing to talk about this in this video instead of the last video is due to the fact season 1 to 3 were very much Rydian focused, but since season 4 and 5 focus on JANA, I thought I should give you more of an insight to her character. Authority takes place when JANA originally leaves Stony Bridge. Aaron and Minya are telling JANA the water has gone bad, and they suggest they steal some water from the humans. JANA rejects that idea. The two Wolfbloods then insist on moving their territory because wild Wolfbloods tend not to stay in the same place for too long. And if you watch my previous video, you'll know JANA is trying to be progressive and change some of the things for the wild Wolfbloods. Minya and Aaron don't want things to change, so they are trying to undermine every decision that JANA makes, so that she appears to be a weak leader to the pack. JANA is starting to doubt herself, but Kerry gives her a pep talk, and JANA decides to prove that the water is still good. She gives a bowl of water to one of the kids, but Aaron says a true leader would drink it themselves. Minya takes the bowl and drinks it and spits it out and says that the water from the river clearly gone bad. JANA then pulls out a water bottle and tells everyone the water that she just drank was from the bottle. So now everyone knows that Minya and Aaron were lying about the river to make JANA look bad. In the episode order, sad times for Kerry. This is the episode where Bryn runs away because JANA was trying to teach him and the other cubs to read. JANA was about to chase down Bryn, but Kerry stops her, saying that Bryn made his decision and she has to stand strong in her stance on reading. JANA tells the rest of the pack that anyone who disrespects her or her leadership behind her back will be exiled. I have always questioned who taught JANA to read. I very much doubt Auric did, and I doubt Rydian and his friends had time to, because she was capable of reading at school, so I want to know where she learned it. In the episode Hearsay, the young Wolfblood Gwyn has become ill. JANA decides to give her more water and meat, but it is a soul night, and that means no one eats that day. It's the code of the wild Wolfbloods. Minya overhears this and gathers all the Wolfbloods and starts telling a story about how the gods commanded Wolfbloods can have any animal meat that they want to eat, except on the soul night, and how the leader of this fictional pack gorged themselves on meat, therefore defying the gods, and the next day the leader was struck down. JANA went to go get meat. For Gwen, everyone turns to look at her, shakes a massive bite out of it, and then walks away, showing she is not scared of an old legend, and storms off to give the rest of it to Gwen. Minya would rather they stick to tradition and this child die than challenge superstition during an emergency. JANA was not struck dead the next day, and Gwen starts feeling better. In the episode Evolution, her getting better did not last long. Gwen starts getting worse again, and none of the pack remedies are working, so JANA suggests that they use human medicine. The pack is hesitant, so JANA suggests that some of them go with her. Minya, Aaron, and Gwen's brother go with her. They head to town, and JANA suggests that they stand outside and try and be normal while she gets the medicine. An old lady on her scooter rolls past, and Minya starts growling at her. The old lady starts hitting her with her handbag, telling her not to be so rude, with the child next to her laughing. JANA has saved Minya. Minya is confident after what happened that no one would want to go back to the human medicine. But with Gwen feeling better and her brother telling everyone how fun the trip was to the human world, it seems like JANA has won this time. In the episode Tradition, JANA is teaching a class of wild Wolfblood the alphabet, and that angers Minya, and she challenges JANA as a pack leader. JANA thinks about using a radio frequency to defeat her, but Kerry says it will mean she is weak if she uses human methods in a Wolfblood challenge. JANA ends up beating Minya, and she is forced to submit. The episode Sacrifice was actually the first episode of JANA Bite. It just makes more sense at the end. It's the last thing before season 3. Minya and Aaron drone find a father and child camping. They are about to attack, but JANA tells them to stop and tells the entire pack to leave them alone. The young Wolfbloods don't listen and go to the human girl and steal from her, thinking it will please JANA, and it didn't. The father comes looking for them with a gun. JANA decides to try and lead him away from the pack, then ends up getting shot. And it appears to be the last couple episodes were all flashbacks JANA was having after she got shot. Do you know how they say your life flashes before your eyes? I liked having an insight into wild Wolfblood life and culture, but all the webisodes are so short, I wish there was more. It shows JANA becoming the type of leader that she can be proud of, mixing wild Wolfblood ways and human to show that they don't have to be enemies. All the work she did trying to show them that humans are scary is probably undone when Kincaid kidnaps them at the end of season 3 and tries to turn them into humans, but at least JANA tried. After the events of season 3, JANA decides she doesn't want to live in the wild, so in season 4 and 5 is her trying to live in the human world alone. Before the season actually starts, there is a webcomic called New Moon Rising, released on the cbbc website, about JANA meeting an old friend of Victoria Sweeney after she joins Segolia, set before the series starts. We briefly see that Shannon and Tom have gone to visit Ridian and Maddie in Canada, and they all wish that JANA could be there with them. JANA is struggling to fit in with all the new Wolfbloods at Segolia, so Sweeney sends her to meet an old friend called Mr. Schuyler. She goes to visit him and meets him and his carer. Apparently, he can no longer control his wolf and gets put in a cage every full moon. JANA is not happy about this and calls Ridian for advice, but him and the others are climbing a mountain with no reception. JANA complains to Victoria Sweeney about the treatment of Mr. Schuyler, but she said that it's necessary. That night on the full moon, JANA goes back and takes Mr. Schuyler out to the woods to be free. He passes away that night of his last full moon. Apparently, Victoria knew that this would most likely be his last, and that's why she sent JANA to him so that he wouldn't be alone and that he can run free for the final time. She sent JANA to live with the new head of security at Segolia, and she decorated a Christmas tree for the first time. That was the story of JANA's first mission at Segolia. We will now be moving on to season 4 of the actual show. Episode 1 starts with JANA getting orders to track down someone from an earpiece. Have I gone back to MI High by mistake? Did I get lost and end up in my old video? Is she now a spy? You see here that JANA is still struggling to adapt to the city whilst using her Wolfblood abilities, and that it's still difficult when she's around all this electricity. She finally gets to where she needs to be, and it's the cave with Kay and Katrina, but it's in the city. Here we are introduced to TJ, who is making a fool of himself. That is a common occurrence in this show. It turns out that is who JANA has been sent to find and bring home. Whilst walking home, we find out JANA worked with TJ's mum, and she has been helping her adapt to living in the city while she works with Segolia. They make their way home and they see 2 Wolfbloods being chased by a van, so they run after it. JANA tries to convince the Wolfblood to let her help, but they end up being captured and brought to a local zoo, and they are mistaken for wolves that have escaped people who kept them as pets. The man's heart in the right place, but just not with the right wolves. JANA and TJ break into the zoo and discover the 2 Wolfbloods are these siblings called Matea and Amelia. They manage to get them out, whilst also traumatizing this poor security lady. She did not deserve this. News of the zoo prison break makes it to the news, and TJ's mum, called Amara, is not happy. Matea and Amelia drew attention to them. Oh, and JANA is living with TJ and his mum. JANA's job at Segolia is to teach the Segolian Wolfbloods how to use Eolas, which, if you don't remember from the last video about Wolfbloods, is an ability that connects them to nature and allows them to see further than they normally would be. In the first pack, when Manny used Eolas, it drove her crazy and she ran away from home. And it is suggested in the first 3 seasons that it had that effect on her because she's a tame wolf, but it doesn't always have that effect on tame wolves because Maddie's dad spoke about using Eolas and he is fine. So I'm assuming that Segolia Wolfbloods are just willing to gamble on whether they go crazy or not. Tay and Amelia go to the cave and ask JANA to use Ancien to try and find out what happened on the night of the fire that killed their parents using their mother's ring. I don't know how they know about Ancien, since the past 3 seasons have suggested that it's a really rare Wolfblood ability. That they even showed us that the head Wolfbloods of Segolia did not believe that Ancien was a real ability when they heard about it. Also, I want to know how they know JANA can do it. At no point did either her or TJ mention it, they just knew. JANA agrees to help them to see what happened during the fire, and JANA saw someone's face peering through the window. I would also like to mention they changed the theme song in season 4 and 5. In episode 2, JANA starts to investigate the fire that Matea and Amelia's parents died in. Since it was previously investigated by Segolia, but they missed the presence of the boy there, JANA goes to look amongst the Segolia files, but she is blocked from accessing the files about the fire. When she confronts Amara about it, she claims it's just a mistake and tells her this is a pointless investigation since it's a closed case. Amara agrees to make a photo fit so JANA can show everyone what the boy in the window looked like. TJ recognizes him as Darren, a boy who got expelled the year before. To find Darren's address, TJ asks another Wolfblood that goes to their school, Selena, who had a fight with Darren the year before. This school is apparently Wolfblood High. They all go here. They head to Darren's house and Amelia almost claws the boy to death. Eventually, JANA talks to him alone and he claims he knows nothing about the fire, but JANA can hear his heart beating erratically, so she knows that he's lying. JANA pretends to leave and they all listen in on a phone call he makes to someone, and he talks about how they were all at the fire. They follow him and he meets up with these two boys. The night is a full moon, so they all turn except TJ, who hasn't hit Wolfblood puberty yet. So he investigates the group of boys with the threat of wolves, and that makes them talk. Apparently they were robbing a house around the corner when the fire started, and he heard howling and thought a dog was trapped inside, but he couldn't get in to help, so he and his friends did not start the fire. The next day, they all hang out at a hill and JANA uses Ancien on the ring again and tells Matea his mother loved him and his sister deeply, and he starts crying. This would have been a lovely note to end the episode on, but Amara shows up. Emilia and Matea were caught on camera in their wolf forms again. Now everyone thinks that there's wolves in the city. Amara says Segovia plans to send them away to Romania, where they have very distant relatives. Matea and Emilia don't even speak Romanian. JANA decides to protect the two Wolfbloods and they flee. Amara fires her and kicks her out of the house. But luckily for her, Kay had just moved out of Katrina's flat and she was looking for a roommate, and JANA starts working at the cave. Good for her. In episode 3, JANA is hiding the siblings in the place she calls her den, and she tells them that she's planned to send them to Stony Bridge and they can live with Kerry and Gerwin. They'll leave in the morning. But that night, someone breaks into the cave and JANA discovers Aaron in there. Aaron has brought Mina, who has become increasingly ill since she had her wolf stolen from her by Kincaid. Instead of going to Matea and Emilia, JANA calls Dr. Whitewood, who says that Mina has pneumonia, telling them that the wolf cells strengthened their immune system and the serum destroyed Mina's, leaving her vulnerable, telling them that the only way she could properly treat her is at Segovia. So JANA meets with Amara to ask for Mina to be allowed in Segovia. She tells her that only if she hands over the siblings. JANA goes to the den, but Emilia and Matea are not there. Katrina calls to tell her that they're at the cave. Mina and Emilia bond, and Mina tells her that the scar she got from the fire would be a badge of honor in the wild. JANA gets there, and Emilia and Matea share their plans to go to the wild with Aaron and Mina. JANA tells Aaron about the ultimatum Amara gave her, and Matea and Emilia overhear it. TJ also shows up. Hi TJ. Emilia says she refuses to let Mina die for them and offers to go to Amara. Mina overhears this and refuses to let Emilia and Matea sacrifice themselves for her. Emotions very high right now. JANA goes to meet with Amara and tells her that she cannot have the siblings. Then TJ, Emilia and Matea show up to back JANA up. The two of them have an alpha off and are about to fight when TJ jumps between the two of them and Amara accidentally bites him. Amara tries to take him to Segovia for the injuries but refuses. He says he will only go if she treats Mina and lets Matea and Emilia go back to their foster families. TJ, man of the hour. Amara agrees to these demands. Happy ending for everyone. She made him a sorry I bit you meal. She should have made a cake too. And here we see them doing the wolf blood forehead thing. It's been on for like 10 seconds and JANA is just awkwardly in the back. It was very funny to me. JANA is so much more chill now in the city. I think the city has affected her because she used to pounce on Jimmy every chance she got, but that might just be because Jimmy's awful. But in season 2, JANA would be tearing limbs off of Amara. Amara is lucky JANA backed off because tame wolf blood is no match for a wild wolf blood. And the reason there's no blood in this show is that it's a kid's show, but it makes his injury seem so much less impactful when it seems like Amara didn't even break skin. I thought the same in season 3 when JANA got shot and there's not a drop of blood on her when she should be like dying. Episode 4, Mina is recovering from her illness and JANA is back to working at Segovia and gets given the mission to track down a dangerous wolf blood. JANA manages to find the dangerous wolf blood and she attacks JANA and takes her phone and tries to call TJ, meaning they know each other. Mina and Aaron leave Segovia after Dr. Whitewood attempts to get her wolf back and it seems to fail. Turns out the young girl is called Carrie and is infected with the Morwol, which makes wolf bloods prone to violence. And the reason she is looking for TJ is because he told her about the experiments Kincaid did, and she wants a serum to get rid of her wolf. They take Carrie to the den, where Jana tries to use the ancient to help her with the more war. Just then, the siblings come back to the den after retrieving Mina and Aaron, who accidentally robbed a shop, not realizing that they have to pay for meat and they cannot just take it. Carrie jumps on Mina, terrifying her, and apparently that fright jump-started the antidote that Dr. Whitewood gave her, and she gets her wolf back, and the two of them go home. They all head to the cave and are enjoying the evening. Carrie jumps through the window. Jana tries to lure her out of the cave, and Katrina saves her using a fire extinguisher. Carrie flees again, but is caught by Segolia. Episode 5. Remember Selena from 3 episodes ago? Well, she is back, and we are seeing her prepare for her Taekwondo contest. During the practice match, TJ notices Selena's veins start turning black and her eyes start turning yellow, but Selena says she would have noticed herself wolfing out, and Mateo and Emilia did not see it, so no one believes TJ, and Selena is mad at him for ruining her match. TJ and Jana talk to Selena, and she decides to drop out of Taekwondo. Selena is sad that she has to quit, and TJ is trying to comfort her when they see an old lady being robbed. Selena chases down the man and gets the bag back. Skipping to episode 7, TJ is feeling less of a Wolfblood after everyone else in his pack can wolf out except him. To compare this to the first pack, Maddie and Ridian were the only young Wolfbloods in the first season, and Ridian's only started transforming 2-3 months before Maddie's first transformation. But for TJ, every young Wolfblood around him has already started, even Emilia, who is 13, and TJ is 16 and does not even feel close to his first transformation. At the cave, he meets this human girl called Neve and falls head over heels for her immediately. Jana is informed by Amara that Mr. Jeffries has written a book called Blood Wolf that seems to have taken a lot of inspiration from Jana and her friends from Stony Bridge. The names of the characters in this book are Caddy, Sharon, Tam, Gideon, and Jana, but spelt with a Y. He changed Segolia to Sologia. I wonder who this is about. Writing a whole book about Wolfbloods is really more of a Shannon thing to do, in my opinion, but oh well. She confronts Jeffries, who now also lives in the city, and he says this book is a way to honour her and her friends, but Jana doesn't see it that way. TJ is on a date with Neve, and he notices she gets messages threatening her. Since earlier in the episode, Mateo and Selena said it's not a good idea to date a human, he accuses them of trying to scare her away. He better buy Selena and Mateo an apology cake, because Neve fake kidnaps herself and then actually kidnaps TJ and tells him that she is a friend of Carrie, and she blames him for all of the Wolfblood stuff she believed before she ran away, believing that TJ lied to her and made her think she's a Wolfblood. TJ wolfs out to prove that he wasn't lying. Again, he met this girl all of a week ago and was willing to fight all of his friends for her. Episode 8. Turns out Neve's real name is Holly, and her and Carrie were best friends. They send Jeffries to talk to her, human to human, and she says she will delete the video she has of TJ if she can talk to Carrie. They use Ancien to find on Carrie is, and they sneak into the place. Carrie and Holly speak to each other, and Carrie says that she forgives her for not believing she was a Wolfblood. Carrie tells her Segolia is setting her up somewhere no one knows her for a fresh start, and tells Holly to move on. They all barely just get out before Segolia catches them, and Holly deletes the video. Oh, and Dr. Whitewood criticises the Blood Wolf book, and I found that very funny. Episode 9. Jana and Dr. Whitewood plan to go to the Wild Pack to check on how Mina is doing, and how she would do with her first full moon. At the Wolfblood again, Emilia overhears them planning to leave and convinces TJ and Mateo to follow Jana, so TJ can have his first wolf out in the wild because he is showing symptoms of changing for the first time. They need a ride to follow Jana, so they manage to convince Katrina to drive them because she is curious what Jana does for Segolia, and they plan to lose her in the woods before they get to the Wild Pack. Dr. Whitewood and Jana reach the Wild Pack to discover Alric is dying, and we get introduced to Maddox, a healer who recently joined the pack after losing his own. They try and make Katrina turn around, but she refuses and continues into the forest. In season 2, Katrina would have never done this. She wouldn't have gone into the forest. This is so much character growth. They went on a school field trip in season 2 to teach them survival skills, and she got the entire group lost, and now she's tracking footprints to follow where Dr. Whitewood and Jana went. Go her. Katrina ends up finding the Wild Wolf camp, and the Wild Wolfbloods try and scare her away. Jana jumps in to save her and creates from shock. Mina is the initial reason they went to the wild. We do not see her at all. Apparently, the wolf in her faded again, and she chose to go live with Carrie and Gerwin in Stony Bridge. Episode 10. Katrina wakes gets out from her shop and they explain Wolfblood to her. JANA is preparing for the worst with her father, and the full moon, they all transform, including TJ. Congrats to him. They are also happy that he transformed for the first time. Dr. Whitewood tries to help Alric, but Maddox insists he must be left alone. JANA tries to convince Maddox to let her take her dad with her to Segolia, but he also refuses. Aaron asks JANA to be alpha with him, which is the equivalent to Wolfblood relationship. JANA even says to her, you are like a brother to her. This is a grown man. JANA is like 16, 17 at this point. So, back up. Spends time with the younger wild Wolfblood and goes hunting with them. They eventually separate and Emilia bumps into Maddox, who tells Emilia he's collecting some healing herbs. But when Dr. Whitewood shows up, she realizes it's actually hemlock, which is poisonous. He then backs them off the side of a cliff and leaves them there to die. JANA and Matea hear them screaming and rush over to them. And they tell them that Maddox has been poisoning Alric, and then Maddox flees when confronted. Emilia decides to stay with the wild Wolfblood, and Katrina, after hanging out with the Wolfblood and doing some of the younger ones' makeup, agrees to keep the Wolfblood secret. Episode 11. The ending of episode 10 was pointless because apparently Katrina is the only teenage girl in the world who doesn't put a lock on her phone. So when they get home, Kay decides to go through it and finds the video she took of the Wolfblood. That night, Kay and Kara break into the flat claiming they are there to rescue her. JANA comes in and they try and fight her in their rescue attempt, but Katrina tells them that she's not being held hostage. The next day, she tries to explain to them that Wolfbloods are nice and not a threat to her, but they do not believe her. Turns out, Kay sent the video to herself. Kara and Kay spread it all over the internet. Jeffrey is in the cave to ask JANA why sales for his book are going through the roof. When they are confronted by a journalist, they try and convince her that the video was just promo for Jeffrey's book, but she is not buying it. JANA tells the pack to head back to the wild while she tries to fix this. Then Matea gets kidnapped, and so does TJ. JANA gets back to the cave and Katrina is gone too, and only Victoria Sweeney remains. Episode 12. Turns out Jeffries and the 3Ks got taken into Segolia custody. Kay and Kara try and blame Jeffries and Katrina for not telling them earlier. Why would they? They had an awful reaction and blasted it all online just after they threatened JANA with a straightener. Segolia detains Imara. Victoria Sweeney tries to bribe the humans by promising to fund their university fees and offers Jeffrey the job as a historian, in exchange for a public statement saying that it was all fake. When Katrina asks about JANA and her pack, Sweeney refuses to answer. Turns out TJ and Matea are in a cellar and they see a familiar face. It's Carrie, who tells them that she took the Wolfblood cure and is no longer Wolfblood. That is what they plan to do to these two. We also learn that Carrie is the one who started the fire that killed Matea's parents. Apparently, Matea's dad was Carrie's counsellor and tried to show her that the wolf is not scary, and then she freaked out and knocked stuff over, then the things caught fire. As you can guess, Matea does not take this news very well. Selena and JANA rescue Imara, and then she sells them out to save TJ. Imara gets a hold of the Wolfblood cure and grabs Sweeney and uses her to escape the building. JANA sacrifices herself so that the others can live in peace, but it turns out Dr. Whitewood pulls the old switcheroo and gives her a different injection, so JANA still has their wolf. They decide to crash the press conference the humans were making for Segolia and reveal the Wolfblood secret to the world. They all go to the cave and JANA gets a phone call. Turns out Victoria Sweeney warning JANA that it's not only humans she'll have to worry about now that she's revealed the secret, but also Wolfbloods who are mad and feel that JANA and her pack betrayed them. The best addition to the show was TJ. He just wants to do the right thing and help people, but he always messes it up somehow, like every time. I love Katrina this season. In season 1 to 3, it went Kara, Kay, then Katrina in order of who my favourite Kay was, but now she's number 1. I'm pretty sure this is set in Newcastle based on what Katrina said in the final episode of season 3. She said her dad had opened 2 more caves around the UK, one in Corbridge and another in Newcastle, and Newcastle's the only city there. So I want to know what Maddie and Ridian thought on this situation. These guys are in Canada, just living their best life, and just turn on the news to see JANA revealing Wolfblood to the world. Now I'm going to talk about some more of the extra content that I found that was not a part of the actual series, but does get referenced in the show that I found on the CBC website. Wolfblood Secrets were mini episodes of JANA and some of the other Wolfbloods being interrogated by Agent Jones and Agent Smith to find out everything there was to know about Wolfblood. Agent Jones at some point reveals she got a statement from Shannon, who is apparently currently in Montreal, blabbing her mouth as usual. She never shuts it. The Wolfbloods we see interviewed in Wolfblood Secrets are JANA, Kerry, Amara, Dr. Whitewood, and Selena. They also interviewed Mr. Jeffries. I couldn't find any footage of that. The interviews mainly consisted of them implying Wolfbloods are dangerous and can't be trusted. They accuse JANA of being involved in the disappearance of Kincaid. Agent Jones plays the good cop and Agent Smith plays the bad cop. When I was rewatching Wolfblood, I didn't watch this first. I just jumped straight from season 4 to season 5 due to excitement. So when we meet Agent Jones later in the series, I did not know who she was or what investigation they were referring to. I don't know why this wasn't in the main series. Majority of the additional content I talk about in this video is not necessary to watch, except for this one, and I'm only able to find some of the episodes, so I'm not entirely sure what all of them went over. They easily could have fit this at the beginning of season 5, but they chose not to. There's only 10 episodes in season 5. Season 5, episode 1. Now everyone knows about Wolfbloods, and as previously mentioned, some of the Wolfbloods are not happy with JANA. One tries to attack her, but Matei saves her. The cave has become a tourist attraction for those curious about Wolfbloods, and since the fall of Segovia, Robin, a former member of security, has started working there. Matei informs the others that JANA is planning on leaving, so she keeps getting attacked and she doesn't want the others to end up injured like Matei. Jeffrey brings a film producer called Hartington who wants to produce the Blood Wolf books into a movie so that he can be the first one to make a film about Wolfblood. He offers for the Wolfbloods to be in the film, but only TJ takes up his offer. His mum and Selena tell him that it's a bad idea, but TJ ignores them. Matei gets accused of cheating on a test because his teacher thinks mind reading is a Wolfblood ability, and Selena gets called a cheater by her taekwondo enemy, Hannah, who compares her to a dog. Matei and Selena decide to run away to the wild with JANA. Jeffries and TJ go to the dinner with the producer of the film, and surprise, surprise, it was a trap. TJ voluntarily walks into a glass cage and gets trapped in there, and Jeffries is drugged. Episode 2. Turns out the Wolfblood who has been attacking JANA is a wild Wolfblood called Hafren, and Aaron captures her. Apparently, humans went to the wild Wolfblood territory and started taking pictures of them. Amelia tried to get them to leave, but they wouldn't listen to her. They pushed her and that started a fight. Police came, which caused the pack to scatter, so they don't know where Amelia is. Jeffries wakes up and everyone in the mansion was gone, and he calls Amara. Amara then convinces Robin to take her to Segovia archives, and she downloads the list of every single Wolfblood in the UK to give to Hartington in exchange for TJ. This is the second time TJ has been captured by humans. You'd think he learns his lesson, but no. Episode 3. JANA and her pack go back to Segovia archives, and JANA finds a necklace called the Dawn's Talk. Her Amphion activates when she touches it, and it shows her Bledisiide. Bledisiide is apparently meant to be a Wolfblood paradise. Then she storms off in search of it, and her pack follows her. Selena and TJ are struggling in the wild, and Selena is one of the wolves who wanted to run away to the wild permanently last episode, and they're struggling with having to pee in the forest. All of a sudden, TJ drops to the floor, and he looks like he's on death's door. TJ has an infection on his back that I will not show you because it looked gross, but it's there. The infection is from a microchip that Hartington implanted in TJ. That is when they notice that he has been following them the entire time. They heal TJ up with some wild Wolfblood remedies, and they set a trap for Hartington, and they capture him. Hartington accuses them of trying to wipe up humanity because he believes there's a Wolfblood conspiracy to rule the world. He also tells them that Bledisiide is actually Sheffield, and then tells them that he sent a team of people after TJ's mum, and they leave to go save her. This was a very informative conversation. We find out so much, but it turns out Hartington was playing 2 truths, 1 lie, because Amara is fine, but the rest of what he said was true. In episode 4, Selena and the others go to school to find someone has graffitied on Selena's locker. TJ recognizes it from the tattoo a waiter and one of the women at the fake dinner he attended had. Selena thinks it was Hannah, who has been her enemy even before the secret came out, so they decide to follow her after school. Amara and JANA go to Jeffrey's house to find out more information about Hartington, but he says he doesn't know anything, but he does tell them that the contract he signed that Hartington gave him was a genuine contract, and he can't make any more movies with anyone else because of it. Since the contract is real, they decide to look into the company who made it. They head to the address where they find a group of Wolfbloods, including Selena's mum, who is filling out a Wolfblood questionnaire with dumb questions like, on a scale to 1 to 10, how human do you feel? Then enters Agent Jones. She tells them that since they failed to tell her that her colleague, Agent Smith, I remember him, was a Wolfblood when they were being being assessed, then they have to do it all again. And because of the Agent Smith situation, Agent Jones got demoted. She said that if they want her to help, then they need to bring her proof that Huntington is trying to start a war between the Wolfbloods and the humans. The others follow Hannah to her martial arts center. They seek in to find an anti-Wolfblood poster, and then they get tricked into a storeroom by a girl who recognized them. This is the third time TJ has been tricked and imprisoned by humans, and a second time for Matei. At least they drugged him last time. He has no excuse this time. Selena ends up fighting the entire martial arts center. Apparently Hannah does have morals and sees one person against all these people is not what Taekwondo is about, and then he jumps in to help her. They release Matei and TJ and they flee. Hannah and Selena come to an understanding. She tells her she doesn't care about the Wolfblood and human rivalry. She just likes bothering Selena. And so they become sort of friends. Episode 5, the cave gets graffitied with the humans against Wolfblood logo. Hannah tells Selena that Birdie, the owner of the gym, is having a meeting that evening, and Selena decides to go. Matei and TJ eavesdrop and also decides to go with JANA since they don't trust Hannah. Birdie is having an anti-Wolfblood rally, which Matei's teacher, who accused him of cheating, she's there. JANA and TJ download emails from Birdie's computer to see if he has been in touch with Huntington. Selena brings Hannah back to the cave after all this. This is where JANA said that they now trust her because they overheard her conversation with Birdie defending Wolfblood when hiding in Birdie's office. Selena is annoyed they went behind her back and did this. Birdie and his idiot brigade are outside the cave, taunting and teasing the Wolfblood, but they ignore them. That is until some random Wolfbloods jump out onto Birdie, and it turns out it's Amelia and the wild wolf pack. Katrina's granddad tries to get her to ban the Wolfblood from the cave, but she refuses. Icon over here defending her friends. Plus, at this point in the series, the cave is seen as a safe haven for Wolfblood, not just JANA and her pack. So it's good business too. It's episode 6, and the news reports portray Amelia and the Wolfbloods as the aggressors, and there's a national manhunt for her. Matei has gone to find his sister and discovers she is the new leader of the wild wolf pack. Majority of these Wolfbloods are adults. How is the 13-year-old your new leader? I'm not saying she can't grow into one, but she just hit her teens. Oh, and Maddox, they accepted him back. Agent Jones said either they show proof that the humans were the instigators or Amelia is being arrested, and so is JANA for protecting her. They try and get Hannah to tell Agent Jones what really happened, since she's a human who knows both parties. She said she will if Selena beats her in a Taekwondo match, and after a long match, Selena wins and she goes and tells Agent Jones the truth. Katrina, granddad, still tries to fire Robin after she saves them from the human organization attacking Katrina. So Katrina says, if Robin goes, I go, and that they are more than just friends. She's her alpha. I thought that sentence was going somewhere else, so I was disappointed. The human organization members were arrested on hate crime charges. Amara gave the chip that was implanted in TJ to Dr. Whitewood, and they found out it's not just a tracking chip, but it's also designed to nullify Wolfblood's abilities over time. They tell Agent Joe this, and they bring her to Dr. Whitewood to find her on the floor after she was attacked, and it turns out Agent Jones' superior is working with Huntington, proving that there is an anti-Wolfblood conspiracy, so Agent Jones agrees to help them. In episode 7, not a lot happens. JANA and her pack warn Amelia and the wild Wolfbloods about the chip and tell them to avoid humans. Amelia gives a speech of Wolfblood supremacy and then marches into a council meeting and declares a war. So yeah, not much happens. Now there's a government mandate for all Wolfbloods to be chipped, so this has totally worked out great for them. Katrina tells Robin to flee and Robin says no, she is her alpha and more. Then Katrina commands her as her alpha not to lose her wolf ever. And it turns out Maddox is working with Huntington because they both believe Wolfbloods and humans should live separately. Episode 8, Huntington is trying to convince a group of Wolfbloods to take the chip, including Selena's parents. Amelia is starting to have doubts that she is the Great Dawness, which is the Wolfblood that is meant to guide them to Bladicide. Could she not have had these doubts before declaring war? But Amelia still thinks there is a Bladicide and she is determined to find it. Mr. Jeffries is useful in this episode and tells them that the stone tablets that Scolia had in their archives are a mix of Norman, Saxon and Gaelic and not an ancient Wolfblood language like they all thought, and they get started with translating it. Maddox goes to meet with Huntington, who gives them a plot of land uninhabited by humans in exchange for pushing Amelia into starting the human Wolfblood war. They do the Dawness ritual again, and coincidentally, this time it tells them that Maddox is actually the Dawness, not Amelia, so Maddox is now the alpha of the group. Surprising how it randomly changed. No one could have seen this coming, and he leads them to somewhere different than what Amelia saw. Truly a shocking turn of events. Episode 9, Selena and Robin turn themselves in. Selena wants to be with her family, and Robin wants to be with Katrina, so they're willing to take the chip. Imara has organised for all the Wolfbloods who don't want to be chipped to fly to Norway. Maddox is leading the pack to what he calls a brighter future, but what I call a cage. That's not even big. And the door shuts behind them. Then Maddox tries to blame Matei, and when that doesn't work, he tries to blame Amelia. Then TJ, who randomly joined them this episode, challenges Maddox as Alpha. Just as the fight starts, JANA shows up and says either Maddox lied about the vision he had, or he was tricked here by humans. They argue for a bit, and then a phone goes off that Maddox possesses, proving he has been working with humans, and the pack turn against him. JANA answers the phone and tells Hartington that she is coming for him. Episode 10, the final episode of Wolfblood. Since Maddox is a traitor, TJ is now the new head of the Wild Pack, and they all get out of the cage, leaving Maddox behind, howling by himself. What a loser. They have now decoded the tablet, and Dr. Whitewood explains what the tablet says in more scientific terms. She says, think of the Wolfblood gene as a switch. It can be turned on and off like on a dark moon. If you remember from the previous video, Maddie and Ridian had their blood tested, but because it was on the day where there was no moon in the sky, there's not a trace of wolf DNA in them. But Segodia found a way to manufacture this change using the serum called Project Genesis. Proved that it was possible because we all share a common ancestor. The project also proved that humans can be treated like switches too. So I think this means, this is my interpretation of what she said, everyone has the ability to turn into a half wolf, half human being, but it's just natural for wolf bloods, whereas in humans it needs to be synthetically accessed. I think that's what it says. I was as confused as Katrina in this scene. JANA heads to where Hartington is, and TJ and Matei show up, and he tells them to stay outside, but they don't listen to her and get stung by a high frequency sound that JANA has earplugs to stop. But then she gets shot by a tranquilizer. She wakes up, and Hartington does the classic villain speech where he tells JANA the reason he hates Wolfblood is because he was in the army and his comrade turned into a wolf, and he told his superiors what happened, and his superiors must have been Wolfbloods, and because they thought he would reveal the secret, they fired him. Truly seems like his own fault. Don't snitch next time. This is honestly the worst villain origin story ever. At least Kincaid actually got attacked by a Wolfblood, and that's why he hated them. This whiny little man just needed to get a new job. JANA transforms, freeing herself from the cuffs, and chases Hartington. Hartington gets in the truck and drives away. JANA secretly jumps in the back. Agent Jones shows up and shuts down the facility, aka the gym that Hartington was in, whilst Katrina and Dr. Whitewood free of the Wolfblood. Hartington plans to pour the serum into the water filtration system. JANA tells him that the serum doesn't just turn Wolfbloods to human, but it turns humans to Wolfbloods, especially if they're children. Hartington doesn't seem to believe her or care and throws the barrel in. Luckily, TJ, Selena and Matei figure out how to put up the gate and stop it from getting into the water supply. I don't get why he didn't just pour it straight into the water, but maybe I shouldn't be giving advice to the man who tried to poison thousands of people. Apparently Agent Jones got a promotion to commander, and they caught Hartington and immediately left Hafren in charge of the Wild Pack and came home to Matei. The series ends with JANA teaching this young Wolfblood Eolus, and that is the final of Wolfblood. It ran from 2012 to 2017, starting in the small town of Stonybridge and ending the city of Newcastle. There is also a Wolfblood lore video voiced by the actor of Maddox. In it, he reveals some Wolfbloods believe that they evolved from wolves. He reveals Wolfbloods did not always hide away. In fact, Wolfbloods used to rule the lands, and that 13 packs banded together to make the first Wolfblood society in Anatolia. And they lived in peace until Genghis Khan and his brother Gamuk, who were apparently Wolfbloods. And I vaguely remember Maddie's dad mentioned this at some point, I think in season 1. Anyway, these two had an unbreakable bond despite the fact that they had very different beliefs. Genghis believed that Wolfbloods needed to be in the wild to remain strong, but Gamuk believed life with humans would be better. The 13 packs deemed Genghis Khan the true alpha, and this angered Gamuk. Genghis and the pack grew their territory to the size of the humans that Genghis believed were inferior, and that he tried to own humans as pets. Gamuk grew even more angry and jealous, and this shows the first ever case of a Morgul, which is believed to be the spirit of an enraged deity that have been chained by Anubis. Gamuk and Genghis fought to see who was the true alpha, and Genghis won and exiled him. Genghis declared that all who believed in equal coexistence with humans will be removed, but Genghis died, and then many years later the wild versus tame debate was reignited, and with all the internal fighting, the age of Khan ended. Some of the packs left to be wild elsewhere, while some of the left to live tame amongst the humans. And that is the law of Wolfblood. But it is being narrated by a known liar, so who knows if it's true. Some more additional Wolfblood context are TJ's vlogs, which are him talking to a camera for like 2 minutes, showing the characters fought throughout season 5. As a way to show the humanity of Wolfblood, they are just regular people, but with a bit extra. He talks about a fight he has with his friends. He talks about his version of the fight at Birdie's gym between Selena and Birdie, even though he was locked away in a cupboard, and other thoughts about the events in his life. Now here are my final thoughts of the Wolfblood series. If you had told me when watching season 1 to 3 that at the end of this show Katrina would be my favourite character, I would have called you delusional, but here we are. A true friend. I think releasing the Wolfblood secret to the world was a mistake. The stakes were always high when they were trying to protect the secret. Season 5 was just the last 2 episodes of season 3 extended, in my opinion. Why did we need Alex Kincaid 2.0? I also desperately want to know what Riddian, Maddie and her parents were thinking during season 5. They fled the continent to keep the Wolfblood secret, and JANA, just over a year later, tells the world. They also tried really hard to make JANA and Matei like the new main couple of the group, and I have never seen less chemistry between two people. Matei barely speaks and just kind of there half the time, talking by his sister. You know who I do ship? TJ, Selena, two people that actually spoke to each other and hung out without the threat of impending doom. Another couple I ship, Katrina and Robin. When she found out Robin left to go and get Chip, that was not the hurt of a friend on her face. I shipped them so much. The last few seasons really tried to portray JANA as an adult, which she wasn't. She just left school. She was like 16 and having to make world-changing decisions, life and death decisions at 17. A bit too much stress on one person. And that is all for the Wolfblood series. I'm kind of sad that I finished. I'm gonna miss the Wolfbloods. And remember, to the grave the secret goes. Unless you're JANA. Goodbye.